A few days ago, Anthropic, the makers of your favorite model, Claude Code, silently flipped a switch that took away your ability to use their models anywhere aside from Anthropic improved tools like Claude Code and the CLI tools. So this is bad for us. It might be good for them, but I doubt it because the last people you want to upset are developers because they will find a way to work around things. And that's what we're going to talk about today is what happened with Anthropic, and then more importantly, what we can do and what you can do to never get locked into these big companies' models and to save money and overall make you a better engineer by supporting tools and doing a few little workflows that can help you never get held hostage by a company like Anthropic again. So to explain what happened, there's a tool called OpenCode, which allows you to use different models to work and build your code. And you can use any model. You could have used Claude, you could have used Codex, you could use any model you want. But on OpenCode a few days ago, all of a sudden people got a message that said, oh, you can't use Claude anymore to build stuff on OpenCode. What Anthropic did is they flipped a switch that no longer allowed you to use their API on anything except for Claude tools. And rightfully, people were pretty upset about this and they took to the internet, mainly on Twitter, and started complaining about it. There's a few reasons why this sucks so bad. So one is the way they did it. They didn't give any warning. They just silently flipped this switch and didn't really respect their users who had been using these tools. It might be a good move for them, but the way they treated us as users who were paying $100 to $200 a month was unacceptable in my opinion. The development community is big on open source and they love doing this because, it helps everybody and it helps innovation. And Claude Code just kind of came and said, nope, we're not going to be a part of this open spirit of the internet. And another big thing with Anthropic is that they kind of market themselves as ethical and safe, the nice AI company. But what they did here was like a pure economic move, and it kind of erodes the trust with everyone and just ruins their brand. But don't worry because there are some ways we can fight back. The first way is to use a mixture of models. I've gotten a lot of comments in my comment section where people ask me, why do you use so many different models? Because I do use Codex, I use Gemini CLI, I use Claude, and I use Cursor. And this is one of the big reasons is because I want to be familiar with all of the tools. So as I've showed in previous videos, the way I'll do stuff is I'll take something like Claude Code and make it the architect and planner, and I'll have it plan out stuff and execute it with tools like Codex and Gemini CLI, and I'll even use Cursor, and Cursor has their own model that can execute stuff pretty well too. So to do this, you just need to make sure that you're using a mixture of models and you never get locked into just one. You can go and sign up for the $20 plans on a bunch of different models and get more horsepower out of it than you would if you just paid for $200 out of Claude Code. So make sure you're not getting locked into just one ecosystem. This is a rule across technology is give yourself options, and nowhere is it more important than right now when you can go and sign up for these models who are becoming more and more equivalent over time. Another way you can prevent yourself from being locked in and being held hostage by these companies is to use a context engineering framework like the Conductor Framework that lets you port all of your context and everything about your project anywhere you want. Let me show you what I mean. A system like the Conductor Framework allows you to take all of the context and in a simple free file system, just take everything about your project from one to the other. So if next month OpenAI comes out with a great model, then rug pulls and raises their rates or something, or does something with their API that lets you not use it like you used to, you'll always have your context and you can just take that wherever you want from one model to the next. The third way you can prevent yourself from getting locked in is to support companies that openly and publicly do whatever they can to support developers like us. Look at what happened with OpenCode, for example. As soon as Anthropic came out and pulled the rug out from everybody, it caused a lot of scuttlebutt on the internet. People saw what happened to OpenCode, and then OpenCode immediately started working with OpenAI to say, hey, OpenAI is going to let you use their model on their $20 plan inside of OpenCode. So this was a very public kind of rebuttal to what Anthropic's doing, and they took advantage of this. But the point is that companies like OpenCode, you should support them. It's free and it's cheaper for you, and it takes the power from these, multi-billion-dollar AI companies and puts it into the hands of you and shows them that they need to be reactive to us, not the other way around. This isn't the diamond industry where you can just constrain the supply of AI. It's going to become like water And to make the move that Anthropic made just doesn't make sense, because this is what's going to happen. You can see here in OpenCode v 1.1.11, you can now use ChatGPT Plus and Pro plans in OpenCode. You just go there and sign up, and you can start using it right away with your API key. So there's 3 moves you can make today that will stop this from happening to you and let you control the power of AI the way you want to. The first is to use all the models. Use Gemini CLI, use Codex, use Opus 4.5, use Cursor. Pay for the $20 plans and switch between them, and make sure you don't become too accustomed to one tool and you can switch back and forth between them. The second is to support frameworks like OpenCode. You should go to opencode.ai, sign up for it, and start using your API keys for these other tools that I just told you about, and use opencode.ai to start building stuff. And the third is a plug for a system like my own, which is the Conductor Framework, where you can take the context with you from one tool to another, and you never get locked in, where all of your context is saved into one tool. You can get that for free at testandprod.co. But that's all for today. Sorry if I come off a little grumpy, but this stuff, it just chaps my ass to see stuff like this, especially when a company like Anthropic that markets themselves as the nice guys do just this, total garbage move to us developers without any warning. So that is all. I'll talk to you all tomorrow.